Hey everyone, welcome to Gear Talk episode 135. Gear Talk is the show that I do every couple of weeks where we talk about the geekier side of rollerblading. If you know the difference between the Style Points Bob and the 250cc, and if you were in Europe, maybe they were the same, maybe you know the Fatty Pro as the 250cc, just depends on where you were. It is a very convoluted mess that they created for themselves, but it was a brilliant time in rollerblading. Of course, I'm talking about K2. The ownership of the soft boot market, they really developed it, created it, not to mention some of the first really great aggressive skates that anybody was out there skating. Anyway, if that sort of thing is interesting to you, if you know what a 250cc is, if you know what Style Points Bob is, then you've come to the right place. Gear Talk is the show where we break down the mystery of rollerblading and try to figure out what 8mm axles mean versus 6mm axles and why you would want to use aluminum bearing spacers versus plastic bearing spacers. Our goal is to make sure that every time you go out there and skate that you are having a great time. Doesn't mean that you're going to be skating super great, but with our help, if you listen to us and if you follow the instructions and you ask good questions, we will dial in your setup so that you can't blame your equipment. You'll have the perfect setup for whatever you want to do. The only thing you can do is blame yourself, or maybe the weather. Sometimes it gets a little hot, a little cold. It's hard to skate. When it's cold outside, my body gets a little stiff and it's hard to do all of my deep leg bending. It's hard to stretch, so definitely can blame the weather, but you cannot blame the equipment. That is the one thing that we want to avoid. We know everything there is to know about rollerblading, and if there are questions out there, you've come to the right place. We do this live every other Wednesday, every other or so Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. It is a great platform for us to do live streams because we've got a great channel with a bunch of videos in the past. A lot of people can find us that way. But I also love interacting with people. I feel like the audience on YouTube is perfect for rollerblading and the sort of skating that I like to do. A lot of people who are just really passionate about stuff, want to hang out in the live chat, talk with others, ask questions. It is a really great time. We do this at 9 p.m. It might be a little late for some of our friends in Europe, but if you have a question, we would love to answer your questions. If you can't make the live stream, just leave a comment in the video. I'm always looking at my comments. I'm always in there answering questions if there are any questions, and I always read all of the comments. So if you're trying to get a hold of me, if you wanted to ask a question, that is a great way to do it. But of course, the best way is in the live stream. If you are able to join the live stream, make sure that you tag Back to Blading with any of your questions. Sometimes the chat moves a little briskly, and while I love the amount of discussions happening in the live chat, it's hard for me to keep up. I zoom in so that the font is fairly large so that I can see things, but still it's hard to pick out whether somebody has a question for me, somebody has a question for the chat. If you have a question for me, tag Back to Blading. That is the best way for me to see it. It shows up in orange, and then I'm able to answer your question directly. Before we get started, I always like to thank our friends over at the Helmet Initiative. We have been doing a helmet giveaway for about 3 years now. For me, the helmet is the most important piece of gear that you can buy. It is a modest amount of investment that you can take every time you go out and skate. If you hit your head and you are not wearing a helmet, it could be a serious injury. You could end up in the hospital. And at our age, it is important that we stay healthy so that we can provide for our families, so that we can take care of ourselves. If you are unable to work, that is a problem. Rollerblading should be fun. We're not young anymore. I mean, maybe some of you are. Maybe somebody out there is young, and if you hit your head, it's no big deal. You just hang out at home for a little while with a concussion. For me, and for most people that I know who rollerblade, can't really hang out at home for a couple of days with a concussion. That is a loss of revenue, a loss of income. And unfortunately, we need to pay the bills. So Putting a little bit of money into a helmet is a good way to protect yourself. If you fall and break your elbow, if you fall and split your shin open, that sucks. But you can get really quick stitches, or you can get a splint and a cast so that you can fix yourself. If you hit your head, it could really damage your life, and we want to avoid that. Helmets usually cost around 50 or 60 bucks. We always recommend that you get a certified helmet. We do the 888 Sweat Saver certified helmets. They are, for our purposes, the best bang for your buck. Great helmet, as comfortable as you can get for a helmet, and they don't cost a ton of money. If this is a expense that you don't have the means for, we would love to give you a helmet. We do a helmet giveaway for every episode of Gear Talk. All you need to do is go to backtoblading.com/helmet. backtoblading.com/helmet. Put a link in the show notes and a link in the live chat. Put in your information. All we need is your first name, last name, email address so that we can get a hold of you. We will pick somebody at random and give away a helmet. Now, if you are in the US, we will contact you. We've got a few helmets left. We will send you a helmet. We'll let you know what we have, and we'll send you a helmet. If you're outside of the US, instead of trying to mail you a helmet, we will just send you some money. And usually it costs about 50 or 60 bucks. So make sure that you can accept money. Make sure that you have a PayPal account or Venmo, if they have Venmo out there, or a way that I can send you some funds if you are outside of the US. I don't need a receipt. I need you to get a helmet. So take the money, go to a local skate shop. If you don't have a local skate shop, find a sporting goods store, some way that you can get yourself a helmet. We just want to make sure that you can take the money away from that complication and you don't have to worry about paying for it. We want to help you with that. We're able to do this because we run ads on our YouTube videos. We also have a Patreon. Patreon.com/backtoblading. If you're interested in helping us with our helmet giveaway, we don't do a ton of exclusive stuff there. We do podcasts and we release on the Patreon first. But really, it's more of a means for us to get money so that we can contribute to the helmet giveaway. And if you have a few extra bucks, we would love to have your money. It goes to a good cause. It keeps the lights on here at Back to Blading, and it also goes to our helmet giveaway. Even though we do get free helmets from the Helmet Initiative, we are able to get some helmets, which is great. We still have to pay to ship them out. So costs can get a little high. We've got enough money though. If you are a student, if you are, saving up for a house or something like that, obviously this isn't the thing for you. If you wanted to support a creator who has a lot of other exclusive content, like the mushroom blading guys like Jump Street or, Michael Witzman, things like that are more important. Obviously, I've got plenty of money and I want to contribute a couple bucks because I like what Lawrence is doing and I want to give some helmets to people. If you are that person, that is the way, but absolutely no pressure at all. Patreon.com/backtoblading for more information, and definitely go to thehelmetinitiative.org for more information about the great organization. All right. What do we want to go starting with? Let's talk a little bit about, my current setup. I could talk a little bit about the current setup. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to skate very much. I did a live stream a month ago, I think, and I'm still on the same setup. So I am on, I'm on the Omni V2, but there are a lot of them out here. I'm on the Omni V2. So this is my Omni V2. This is a flat version. I don't really know what to say. I've said so much about the Omni V2. We just got back from Winter Clash last weekend, and boy, are my arms tired. And it was a lot of talking. But overall, we were very pleased with people who had the Omni V2. They were all very excited to talk to me about it, share what they've been going through with their Omni V2s. For me, I brought my skates last year at Winter Clash. I was excited to skate. Had a really great time last year. This year, because of my injuries, I am very hesitant to skate. And this is just me being completely honest with y'all. If I skate, there is a potential that I could be injured for a couple of weeks. Nothing debilitating or anything like that, but I could throw out my back. I am very timid with skating right now. So there's only a few spots that I want to skate. The warehouse is one of them. It is a nice cushioned floor. It's got wood ramps. It's got a PVC box that I'm very comfortable with. I do hope to get out there and skate this weekend on the box here, but the ramp is still full of boxes because we got the Omni V2 shipment in, and I am still shipping like a madman. Feels like every day I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 pair of skates going out. It's been ridiculous, which is a great feeling. I mean, obviously, we've been working so hard on this since, first of all, the Omni, but since V1 hit and, the feedback was mixed, we were like, well, we got to fix that. We got to make it so that everybody who buys the Omni V2 loves the Omni V2. Might not be the perfect skate for you, but there's no problems with the Omni V2. So that's where I've been, in the back, shipping most nights, all weekend when I'm not in Amsterdam and the Netherlands. But these are the Omni V2s, so I'm very, very happy with the response so far. I am going to be changing over to a flat 5688 setup. I have a hair in my wheels, which is concerning because I do not have long hair, as you can see. I don't know where this hair came from. But I am going to be skating the 5688A wheels. 90A isn't bad, but I want a little bit more cushion back there. I also forgot all about this, but I also, with Luke Naylor's advice, upgraded my insoles to the FP insoles. So I have been, I wouldn't say anti-FP insole, but I've never seen the point of getting FP insoles. A lot of people swear by these things. Now, you've probably seen the ads on YouTube. You've probably seen skateboarders talk about them. It is a skateboarding brand. It was designed so that you can put these in your skateboard shoes, and it is like a cushion for landing gaps. And if you squeeze it, you can feel it's a little hard. It's got the, I don't know what the material is called, but it's like a kind of a hard material until you hit it, and then it becomes soft and absorbent. It's a very interesting material. I haven't skated them yet. I got these right before I left for Winter Clash. I set them up and then I left. So these are going to be my first time skating them. I've heard only good things though. If you have FP insoles, I would love to hear from you. Either just leave a comment in the video or let me know in the chat. I don't know which ones I was supposed to get. I think these are, I don't know what they are, but these are green. They have a camo pattern on them. I don't know one from the other, but it does have that that material in the inside. It's a nice squishy insole. It should work well. Again, my whole goal is I need more cushion. I had a really nice chat with old friend Tom Heiser, who topically was one of the main designers for K2 back in the days. He is now at Rollerblade doing design and marketing, but he is amazing. He's also an old dude, and as an old dude, he and I were commiserating that now if we want to skate aggressive, we have to work out. There's no way around it. You can just skate urban, you can skate recreational, and that can be your workout. But if you want to go to the skate park, if you want to do rails, if you want to do ledges, if you want to jump, you need to keep the core strong. And that is a thing that I struggle in, persistence and ability to do that. I just don't have the interest. And I've tried, I went to physical therapy and, I got x-rays and they checked me out and they said, okay, everything's fine with you. You just need to strengthen that core. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to put some time into it, and I need to make sure that I'm actually spending the time doing it. And unfortunately, I've been slacking. So I need to get into that. I'm hoping that these insoles will help. I'm hoping that softer wheels will help. Best thing that I can do, make as soft of a padded landing as possible so that when I come off my grinds, I have a little bit more padding, I guess, a little more shock absorption. I am not worried about stretching weird or landing weird on grinds, but I am worried about coming off of grinds and stomping and my back hurting. That's usually when it hurts the most. So with any luck, I'll be able to clean out the warehouse this week and skate on Sunday. That is the goal. Worst case, I'll do it next week. It just depends on how many orders we get. Because, it's just me and I have a full-time job. So I do my full-time job throughout the day. Sometimes I'll take a break for lunch. And instead of having lunch, I'll have a little RX bar and pack up some orders. And then after work, I pick up my daughter from school and come back to the warehouse and I ship. And then I have UPS come the next morning. So it is a very well-oiled machine that I've got going, but it takes a lot of time. And that means that I don't have a lot of time to clean up the warehouse and get it ready for skating. But very excited for the potential. Seeing people skate at Winter Clash was really great. I'm extremely excited to go out and skate again. I just need to get the mental confidence, I guess, that I'm going to be out there and not hurt myself. Anyway, I hope everything is good. I saw that the stream dropped a little bit, but I am recording this in the future, so the live, when I actually post this, it will be nice and clean. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not even going to look at it. It's fine. Sometimes the stream drops. It's no big deal. What I would like to do is answer any questions that we might have. As always, if you have a question, make sure that you tag Back to Blading in it. I forgot. I totally forgot. I did have some housekeeping. Questions. Get your questions in now. Start asking questions, and I'll scroll to the top and I'll take a look. But before then, I wanted to talk a little bit about some Omni V2 stuff that we've been experiencing and tips to fix it. So a lot of people have gotten in touch with us, loving the Omni V2, but a couple of things have come up, and I wanted to show you a few things that we're working on to make the V2 even better. First of all, the liner situation. So there was a little bit of confusion, and I apologize. It's a very complicated situation, but we had the medium and the large shells. So when you buy a medium boot only or a complete, or a large boot only or complete, the liners that come with your skates could be a little bit short. If this is you, if you put your foot in and you're like, you know what, I know that I'm a 9, but my foot doesn't fit perfectly in there. Or if with a medium and a large shell, you put your foot in and your foot is sliding around a little bit, like your liner sliding around in the shell, that's probably why. We have new liners being made that will replace the liners that were a little short. And I had a sample of these. These are the liners that will be replacing them. These are the V2 larges. You can see there's not even a label on them yet. These were the samples that they sent me right before Winter Clash, just for size confirmation, and they fit great. Absolutely love these liners, but obviously if they don't fit your feet, they're going to be horrible. They won't feel good. These are the new larges. They should be here probably in a couple of weeks. Factory just got back last week. They, as far as I know, have the material and are starting production, but it's always hard to predict with the factory how long things are going to take. What I can say is that once they get here, we will be contacting anybody who has already reached out, sending replacement large liners out. If you are out there and if you have a medium or a large skate, you're using our V2 liners and it feels a little short, please get in contact with us. We would love to make the Omni feel good for you. If it's a little short, it shouldn't feel short. It should fill the entire shell. So our measuring chart on our website is almost perfectly accurate. The problem is the liners are a little short in some situations, which means that our sizing chart is a little off for the medium and the large. The replacement liners will fix that. They should be here in a couple of weeks. If you feel like the skates are a little short for you and you have a medium or a large, let us know. You can find our contact information on our website. That is the best way to get a hold of us. Instagram is also great though. So that's the liner situation. Again, shops have been great about dealing with this. If things feel weird, let us know. That's the lasting message. Second thing, so we've been addressing all of the forward flex catching issues If you remember, we had a brand new box here. I'll show you how it goes. We have the back of the shells catching on the back of the cuff. So if this cuff moves forward too much, it can catch on the back of the shell. This one doesn't, because sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. If this is you, if it catches on the back, we have a support document on our website with a little video showing you how to modify it. If you need help, let us know. We are doing all of the cutting of any skates that come from the warehouse. So if you are still getting stuck leaning forward, they probably came from a shop. That is just a thing that we didn't know while we were drop shipping. We learned about it after the fact. New skates won't have that problem. If you are experiencing that problem, please let me know. We have replacements. I would love to send you a replacement to fix it. Again, get in contact, send me a picture, let me know what you're dealing with, and we will help you. We want you to have a good experience. The final thing is the cuff flaps. So this was fresh from the box, just pulled it out. Laces are still flapping around. You can look at the front and you can see that the cuff flaps are not straight. This is a medium. This is a large. This is a medium straight from the box. You can see that the cuff flaps are perfect. What's different? Well, these all came as boot only or completes, which means that they had liners in them. These came as shell only. The factory put these paper tubes in to keep the shape of the shell. Now, in V1, this was a necessity because the shells were collapsing, and in order to keep them open, we needed to have an insert to keep the ankle area open. Not a problem anymore with V2. Unfortunately, you can see how sad this left the cuffs. It will fix itself. There are other skates out there that do that, but this is not the way that it should be. So if this is you, if you bought a shell only that came with a paper tube and you have sad cuffs, sad cuff flaps, couple things that you can do. Obviously, if you don't want to do anything, get in contact. We've got replacement shells. We'll help you out. But if you love the skates, you don't want to be without them, you don't want to send them back or anything like that, what I recommend is there's a little technique. So what you do is, using the buckle, you click it in, you tighten it down, and you can see there's still a little bit of space here. Give it another click. Another click. Buckle down. And you can see, after it gets to that perfect click, it will become perfectly flat. Now, obviously, it won't stay like that. If you just put it like that and you open it up, it's going to flop. But take a hairdryer. Not heat, put it in the oven, hairdryer. Put a hairdryer, heat it up a little bit, let it sit overnight, let it sit a couple of days. After you let it sit for a few days, it will retain this shape. This is the way that it wants to be. When it comes out of the mold, this is what it looks like. Unfortunately, by using these tubes and tightening it down, it pulls it down and it makes it into this V shape. That's not what you want. So what you want to do, find that special click where both of these flaps are lined up perfectly. Let it sit for a few days, and then it should be fine. If you don't have the patience for that, if you just want your stupid skates to work the way that they should work, this is not the way that it should be. Factory is admitted to it. They will be replacing anything that we need to replace. If you don't want to deal with this issue, let us know. We have replacement bases. So these are a replacement base. This is a large, but these came in bulk. They don't come with the They don't come with the packaging. But these have the cuffs that are much better. They didn't have a liner, so they don't have that perfect liner angle, but much better angle. We can replace them for you. We will send these out to you. We also sell these. We don't advertise it, but if you are skating V1 and you wanted to try V2, but you didn't want to spend a ton of money, you want to reuse your sole plates, you want to reuse your mounting hardware, you can just pick up one of these. I think they're $100. So save a little bit of money. You don't need to rebuy sole plates. You don't need to rebuy laces or anything like that. It includes the base, it includes the cuff, and it includes the buckle with the new clasp and the new flap. Really just for warranty issues, if I have anybody break any shells or cuff issues, but if you're interested in picking up a pair and you just want to upgrade, you can also do it that way. I think that's everything. There are going to be more things that we discover. We've probably got 400, 500 pair of skates out there already, which is incredible. As the days go on, we learn more, we get more information from people, and we'll continue to make the product better. We've already started on production for V3, to be honest. It's going to be a while, probably, I mean, I don't want to say a date because I don't know a date, but a lot of these little improvements, they are modifying molds now so that they can make it even better for V3. Most important thing, fixing that forward flex thing, because for me, every time I ship a skate, I got to take the skate out of the box, I got to push it forward, I got to cut the little flap, pull it back and ensure that it comes back to a resting state. 5 minutes every single time I have to ship a pair of skates. I don't want to do that. I want to just take a box, open it up, make sure that it's what it's supposed to be, and then put it in the mail so that people can get it. That is my efficiency. So they're going to be fixing that. They're going to be fixing a few other things, production issues. They're learning. They're making improvements left and right so that the V3 is even better. But I am extremely thrilled with V2. Couldn't be happier. I wish I could skate them more, but seeing people posting their pictures of their setups, seeing people posting clips of them skating, it's amazing. You know, just you know I'm a pretty sappy dude, but we've spent so much time and energy making the Omni, and V1 was a little underwhelming, to be completely honest. It worked great for me. It didn't work great for everyone. And it feels like V2 is working great for everyone. And that is exactly what we wanted the Omni to be. So more information to come. Stay tuned. Please make sure that you tag Standard Skate Co. whenever you do any Instagram posts. I love seeing your posts. I love sharing your setups. It is amazing to see the creativity out there. Yeah, if you've got any questions or if you need service, shops definitely can help you out, but feel free to reach out. We're here to make sure that you have a good skating experience. All right, let me see. Let's scroll all the way up, see if there's any questions. Again, if you have a question, I'd love to answer your question. Make sure that you tag Back to Blading so that I can see it. It shows up with a little orange. There's a little plastic bag from the base still. I'll throw that over here. Make sure that you tag Back to Blading. I would love to answer your questions. Anything goes, skating related, anything else related, I'm happy to chat. Reserve the right to not talk about some things, but feel free to ask away. Jordan Skates, good seeing you and talk at Winter Clash. Did you have a good trip back? I kind of didn't, to be honest. It was great seeing you and great finally meeting you. I did a podcast with my friend Ben. You can go to backtoblading.com/podcast. You can find it on iTunes or Spotify. Talked a little bit about my trip there, all of the stuff that went down at the trade show, and then my trip back. Unfortunately, there was potentially bad weather in Boston, which is where I was going to be flying from Amsterdam, and they were going to delay my flight. I didn't want to stay another day in the Netherlands because I need to get back. I need to go back to work. So my wife rescheduled my flight for me because I couldn't call Delta because their app wouldn't let me reschedule because it was within 24 hours. And the only number that I could find to get a hold of somebody was an 800 number, which doesn't work outside of the States. So my wife was able to get a hold of somebody. She did all the duty. I ended up flying through Paris, and then from Paris over to Raleigh-Durham. So it was a bit of a cluster. I ended up having to take a ride the night before the flight. Flew out at 9:30 on Sunday. It was a busy day, especially after being at the trade show all day Saturday. But absolutely worth it. Looking forward to the next one. I will probably get there a day earlier so that I'm less jet lagged, because I got really rocked with jet lag. My sleep was really bad, and that didn't help. Started feeling really sick, and just powered through because, I'm there to work, I'm there to see everybody, I'm there to get feet and skates. But it was not the best experience from a health perspective, something that I need to take better care of. So next time I will be more prepared. But yeah, it was great seeing you. Thank you so much for coming up, saying hey, and I hope that you had a good trip. True Skate, hey Adam, the white standard setup over your right shoulder with black soles, frames, and wheels is dope. My left shoulder is this way. This one, the white standard right shoulder, black soles. Oh, black soles. Oh my God, making it so difficult. Right shoulder, so this is my left. Right shoulder, this one, with black soles, frames, and wheels. Not this one, maybe this one. The wheels are not black, but maybe these are the ones. Yeah, I was so thrilled seeing these setups in person. All of our sole plates are compatible, and you can swap for V1 sole plates, V2 sole plates, and then eventually V3 sole plates. Everything's going to be compatible. So you get a boot now. Boots are limited. If you wanted a brown boot, it's probably never going to happen again. And it's a great brown. Get yourself some V2s. The Yandis are amazing skate. And then, yeah, put the black on. Black with the black antis. I had to put on the orange just to pop a little bit of the line, but man, it looks good. Very happy with this setup. My favorite setup up here, I probably like this one the best, to be honest. I didn't even expect the white to go so hard, but man, white sole plates with white frames on this, come on. Maybe white laces, white buckle, woo! That is a setup. It's good seeing you again, Adam. All right, Darren, absolutely love the V2, waiting on the upgraded liner. Only issue I found, sole and frame bolts. I have stripped 2 sets. I like them tight, but I am so careful. Hard steel screws, please. I've never stripped a bolt. I don't know how hard you're tightening them. I don't know what to say. Make sure that you're using good hex keys. We provide good hex keys in the box. I work on skates all day, and I've never stripped a bolt. I don't know how you're stripping them. There are aftermarket bolts that you can get. You can go to Fruit Tech and you can get the T25 and all of their stuff. They make really great hardware. I don't know that our bolts need to be upgraded, to be honest. I don't hear a lot of people saying that they strip them. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you're in the gym too much. If you need new bolts, more than happy to send them. Just obviously send me a message, or if you get them stuck and you can't get them out, send me a message. We're here to help. But yeah, I will take it as into consideration. Maybe there's a future we could make some upgraded bolts as an option. But you are the first person who's mentioned that they've stripped anything, so I will weigh that accordingly. But I'm glad that you like the skates. True Skate again, you have a lot of different standard colorways behind you. Have you calculated how many unique setups are possible with the different boot, sole, frame, color combinations? I have not. I am a bad developer in that I don't do much maths. but I'm sure there is some algorithm or some formula that I could use with 3 different sole plates. So if we took away white, just stock V2s, 3 different sole plates, 2 different boot combinations, 2 different frames, 1 anti-rocker option, or 2 different wheel options. You figure out the numbers. There's a lot of combinations. This took me 2 hours to build, and I had a few of the frames on hand, obviously, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I started stressing out a little bit before the show, thinking I wasn't going to make it, but I phoned in a couple of these, but most of them look pretty good, I think. Just goes to show you, you can do whatever you want with your standard Omni. It's for everyone. H Block, that's a good name. The sole plates on the Omni seem to be one of the thickest in the market. Is there a functional reason for this? Any plans to make it thinner in the future? Couple reasons for it. The first is we wanted to make sure that it wasn't a floppy sole, and we might have gone a little thick, completely honest. But there's nothing worse than a sole plate that feels like it's just flopping around when you're skating. So we made sure that it was a thick sole plate. You're not going to wear through it anytime soon, and you're not going to have any issues with it feeling floppy. We are looking at making new sole plates. I don't have an ETA on it. It will not be with V3. It will be in the future. But they will be backwards compatible with the Omni as it is. So we'll make sole plates that are different. I would say we have a few designs, some of them thinner, some of them more responsive. Nothing finalized yet, but future is bright, and we will continue to come out with different sole plates as we come up with new ideas. But yes, we've heard that they're a little thick. I think they're fine, but yes, they can definitely feel a little thick if you're coming from something a little thinner, like a I don't know, USD Carbon or something like that has a really thin sole plate. We wanted to make sure that it was more rigid and solid. I feel like the angle that you get is good. The pairing of the sole plate with the H-Block, great for doing royales, but it can feel a little bit tall. There are third-party sole plates, not a lot of them, but we did open source the sole plate base, so people can go and 3D model their own sole plates if you wanted to experiment. I've seen a few out there. It is an interesting idea. It takes a lot to model sole plates. It's a really difficult skill, one that I had to learn, and I'm definitely not great at. I had a lot of help from the factory. I could rough it out, but making it smooth and clean, factory had to help me with that. But if you know of somebody who is good at 3D modeling, standardskate.co, click on the Omni information and you can download the developer kit, which has all of the sole plates and some samples that you can print out. Something that you can look into if you were interested in getting something small and you wanted to play around with some options. But appreciate the feedback. It is a difficult thing making a skate for everybody. We're very happy with the Omni though, but we're always looking for ways to improve. Jeff Metz, there were a lot of standards at Modern this weekend. Really fun to see. Indeed. I've been getting a lot of mentions from people saying that they're seeing a lot of standards in the wild, which is such an amazing feeling. I've made frames for years, made wheels for years, but actually seeing people enjoying boots, that is a very big deal. I hope that it continues. It is an amazing skate. I feel really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And I think that people are finding them really fun to skate. And it's an infectious thing. You see somebody skating them, unlocking new tricks because sole plate is a really good design, because the flex is really dialed in. And then you say, I'd like to get my Royales, or I'd like to get my top sole. Maybe the Omni can help me. And maybe it can. It has for a lot of people. And that's wild to say. But the skates have helped unlock tricks for people, which I don't know if it's the mental placebo, that it's a little bit more confident. I don't know that the sole plate diameter and the, not diameter, but the dimensions allow for, better topsole locks. The heel is pretty flat, which is really good for topside tricks. The Royale angle is really nice and dialed in. A lot of things that we put into consideration. Everything has been decided. We made a lot of decisions with this skate. We didn't phone anything in when we were designing it. So maybe it is the skates. Anyway, I'm glad to hear that you had a good time, and I hope that I get to see you soon, Jeff. Pablo Skates, have you ever experimented with a single backplate female mount for the buckle? Even with grip teeth, they never stay in for long. No, not yet. But we're playing with some ideas for the buckles. We did have some feedback that this is a bad one because it actually looks pretty good, but some of these teeth don't get countersunk super well. This one's a little raised. Some of these don't get countersunk super well. We'd like that to be completely flat. It should be completely flat. Sometimes it is better than others. Mounting buckles is tricky, and I don't know that any skate company has solved it yet. I would love to invest some more time in it. Now that we've figured out the flex issue and we figured out the comfort and the fit issue, we can start focusing on the little things that will make a better experience overall. It is one of the things on our list. So look for some improvements coming in V3 and the future. Darren, also the V1 liner is awesome in the V2. If you like a slightly thicker liner in the V2, I love both. Can't decide, but good problem to have. Yes, I love that the V1 liner is working for so many people. It is the same smaller, shorter liner that we are replacing for the mediums and the large, but because it has a neoprene toe, it allows your foot to extend a little bit. It has more padding around, I don't have a liner, I do have a liner. It has more padding around the ankles, so you can see this is not the most padded area. It is heat moldable, but it is more of a performant fit. The V1 is a much more padded fit. Works great if you're trying to downsize a little bit, but some people, or upsize a little bit, I guess. But most people prefer a slightly thinner ankle area. To each their own. We've got plenty of V1 liners left. They're on sale. You can get them from shops. So stock up if you want them. We won't be making any more. But I'm glad that they work for you. All right. What else we got? Couple more questions. There's a couple more. Ravenous Pathogen. Will you ever make a 5x76 or 5x80 Rockerable compass frame for us that love the wizardy thing? We have talked a little bit about it. I don't know when we're going to make a 5x, but I think 5x is inevitable. I love big wheels. I don't do wizardy stuff. I like to skate fast. I like comfort and cruising. I am getting older, and I'm probably going to get more into the precision stuff. And when that happens, I think making a more precise frame is the move. Whether that's a 5x72, 76, 80, I don't know. I'm going to need to invest some time and look into it. Right now, to be honest, my focus has been on standard. It's been so busy lately that I want to make sure that everybody who needs skates gets skates. Shops, customers, if we have feedback, if we have returns, if we have warranties, if we have questions, it's taking up all of my time. So I don't have a lot of time to experiment with new product development, but it is on my list. Not to make, but to investigate 5-wheel frames and see if there's something there that I like. I don't want to make a product that I don't like, because then I can't make it good. I could make a thing, but I don't know if it's good or not until I can skate it. I made a really good sole plate because I know what I like in a sole plate. I don't know how to make a 5x frame because I don't know what a 5x frame should feel like. But eventually I will, and I'll make that decision when I get a pair, you'll see, probably I'll make a video me trying them out. But when I get a pair, you'll see if they are something that I'm interested in making, or if it's just something that, I don't know that I need, 4x90 is probably fine. Rockable 4x90, probably all that I need, but maybe there's something there. Good question, though. Dave Quist, have you sent Andrew Broom an email or skates? I have not spoken with Andrew. I am a big fan. I'm a fan of everything that Texas has been producing lately. But no, I haven't spoken with Andrew. I am aware of his situation. And I remember I was on the treadmill when my video stopped and he and Cody were on the Jumbo podcast talking. And I was pretty shocked. So yes, definitely love Andrew. I think he would be a great skater wherever he ends up. But no, I haven't spoken with him. Someday. Maybe we'll announce something if something happens, but we'll see. He's a good dude. Darren, yes, the flex on the V2, which I love, have given me my first Royale, and now I know why you grinders love them. Great to hear. Yeah, I couldn't be happier hearing things like that. It is so amazing to unlock tricks. Some of the tricks, Royales, topside tricks, even soul tricks, feel so different than anything that you've done before. If you are a person that just does front sides, right? There are people out there that just do front sides and back sides. First time you do a soul trick and you can charge at a ledge or something and you just jump on, it is an amazing feeling, and that is all that you'll do for weeks on end. Royale's probably the number one because there is that balance point of, oh, I'm slipping out, but I got this. That is a really fun feeling. And then the lower that you get, the more balance you've got, the smoother it is. It is an addictive trick. And that's crazy to say, but because it just looks the same to people watching, right? But as you're in the barrel and you get down on a back Royale, there is no better feeling. Glad that you were able to unlock it. Let's get some clips. Tag me on the Instagram. And yeah, keep skating. It's plenty of more to unlock. When you get your Royales, I mean, it's a very freeing feeling. So I'm glad that we were able to help you with that. Joseph Vicario, if you had to pick a new color for the V3, what would you choose? Well, I will say the one color that we've heard the most is white. I love a white skate. These were my aggressives V1. I love a white skate, and I would love to make this again. I miss that we don't have a white skate with V2. The hard truth is we just couldn't afford it. We are, very small company with a bunch of bank loans trying to get this thing kickstarted. Getting a new mold for the extra small was, 20, 25K. And that's not money that I have lying around. Skates are very expensive to make and they have high minimums. So for us to do 3 different colorways was not realistic. 2 colorways, we wanted to do a pro model and we wanted to do black because black always sells. We knew that we didn't want to take too many risks, and brown is kind of a color that some people can pull off. Honestly, I think we have the best brown in the industry, but it's not for everyone. So we needed to have a safe color. Black is that safe color. White is always going to sell less than black, but it looks so good. I absolutely love white skates, and I would love to make another white skate. I think this is probably a shoe-in for V3 if you are waiting on a white skate. Don't have any timing. Again, we don't have any dates. Again, truthfully, I got to sell through more V2. I don't want to leave shops hanging out there with product. I want to make sure that they can sell through. Very important that we support our shops, and I don't want to leave them with inventory. I want them to sell through so that when we have V3, it is when V3 is almost out. That is a perfect situation for supply chain. K. Omer doesn't like wizards. No, I don't really like wizards. I wish I could. Again, I'm getting old. Maybe I will. But I love grinding. I love skating fast. I love grinding. So if I could do wizardy stuff at high speed, I would love it, but that doesn't seem safe. Maybe at my current ability level, maybe someday I will be able to, but yeah, not yet. Go to fashion, you want to say gray boots. Gray is a great color. I don't know if it's an absence of color or it's a mix of colors, but yeah, I've always loved gray skates, especially a dark gray, but light gray looks really good. I love the gray. They always do a really good gray. Gray skates are really nice. Don't know if we're going to make one though. We honestly haven't started production yet. So, but I can say that I love gray and I would love to make a gray skate in the future. Comer is picking up all of the broom energy. I mean, sales have been big, and I will say that we're getting a lot of people saying that they want to switch skates. I will leave it at that. I am here for it, and I love that people are seeing that there is a lot of similarities between those skates that Broom was skating and the skates that we are skating here. It is a very comparable flex, very comfortable fit, a little bit lighter, similar price, very good transition from one to the other. Pablo Skate, yes, some new innovations in buckle mounting would be great. Very excited to see what you guys come up with. Spinning receiver that won't grip is the worst thing ever. Absolutely sucks. I hate when people email me and they say, hey, I can't get these tight and now it's digging into my liners and now I have a cut in my liner. That is the worst feeling because my skate damaged their product. I need to fix it. It is on my list. I don't know what that solution is, but it needs to be a smooth something on the inside. It needs to be a way that the screws or some sort of fastener can bolt on to a buckle, and it needs to be something that won't break in an hour. Difficult, you know, if it was easy, they would have done it a long time ago. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm a pretty smart dude, and I have some ideas. We just need a little bit more time. Brew Mentionator gonna do something with purple cuffs, or is that still a hard no for you? I mean, purple is tough. Again, I want to sell skates. Purple is not a color that sells. There are very few colors that sell. But we're going to make what our team wants. When we have signature skates, maybe we make less of them if it is a more risky color, but we will make what the team wants. End of the day, this signature skate program is for the riders. And I want to ensure that they get the skate that they've always dreamed of, even if we don't sell that many of them. It is about marketing, it is about making the skater happy, and it is fulfilling the dream that they've always had of, I got a pro skate is exactly the way that I want it, which is why we have Yandi's skate with Fitty Fitty frames and chroma wheels, which is why future skates will come with third-party products if the rider has a sponsor. It is important to me that we lift everybody and that the skater gets credit for all of the things that he endorses or she endorses, rather than just putting their name on something that might or might not be what they want. It's very important to me. All right, I think that's everything. A little bit of water, and then let's talk a little bit about K2. All right, go to, yes, you could do that. I have them right here. Ooh, I have them right here. Oh, backwards, but I put these together really quickly. You can skate them like that. They will not provide the support that V1 does because it is a more flexy material, but if you're skating 80s, you should be fine. If you're skating 90s, might be a little bit flexy. I would recommend V1s for that. All right, let's talk a little bit about K2. So I've been a bit of a downer on K2 the last few years. K2 is a very interesting company. Back in the days, K2 was kind of the underdog. So, you know, we had Rollerblade, we had Rosie's, Oxygen, and I mean, that's really it. What am I missing? Yeah, that's really it back in those early days. So Rollerblade and Rosie's kind of ran the show. Oxygen kind of slipped in and kind of did a few things, but I guess they were kind of on the same time frame as K2. But K2 came in and, you know, they had a history of making skis, and they were like, well, we're going to make rollerblades or inline skates. And, you know, the first K2s, I think they initially started as a soft boot design. I don't know that K2 ever made a hard boot up until now. I don't know that K2 did any hard boots. They were always about soft boots. At least that's what I knew them as. And they would just make skates, and they probably started back when, you know, things started popping early 90s, late 80s. And they were, you know, just like skis, making skates because that was just a recreational activity that people were doing. I remember there was a time that they made a skate called the Soul Slide, which was an aluminum frame. It was an anti-rocker aluminum frame. I wish I had a pair of those because those are amazing. Aluminum anti-rocker frame. You could only skate anti-rocker with. It had grooves, and I think they fit 72s on the outside. So this was this, we don't know what the hell we're doing, but we're going to make a frame and we're going to make a skate. It's like, all right, dude, like K2 coming hard, right? For the time, K2 was this brand that nobody really knew anything about from rollerblading, but they would advertise in Daily Bread with this Soul Slide, and I guess it was okay. I don't know. I never saw anybody skating them. I never saw them in person. But it was their first dipping their toe in the water to see how the water felt. And around that time, I bet, they brought on Tom Heiser as their designer. Now, Tom is a really great artist, was a pro skater at the time, and knew a lot about how things worked. And as any skater, you know, who is a designer or an artist, has been out skating and then thought, well, how could I make skates better? And he probably had, I don't know this from him. I'd love to interview him someday about it, but I'm sure that he had a list that he brought around, like a notepad that he just sketched. And he was like, what if a skate was like this? What if a skate was like this? How could we make it better? How could we make this frame better? How could we make, you know, we're starting to do royales. How do we make a royale? How do we make a sole that's flat? All of these things were captured in the first legitimate aggressive skate from K2, and that was the Fatty Pro. Now, I happen to have, oh my God, it is in the worst shape ever. I happen to have one of the original K2 Fatty Pro prototypes from back in the day. So this was Andy Cruz's pair of skates. He donated these to Eisenberg's skate park, which was a skate park that Arlo and his family ran in Plano, Texas. They were on a wall of like, I don't like a museum of sorts, I guess. So this was in a poster with, you know, a picture of Andy Cruz skating, I think. They would mount them on the walls, like some history of a lot of Arlo stuff, his, you know, X Games medals and things like that. This was Andy Cruz's skate. And I actually saw Andy Cruz at Winter Clash. First time I've seen him in over 20 years. And I was so thrilled to see him. And I said, hey, did you know I have your skates? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I have a pair, I've just one, of your Fatty Pro prototypes that were at Eisenberg skate parks. And he was like, that's crazy. And he walked off. He didn't really care. But for me, this is amazing. So this was a very important step in aggressive. A couple of things that this introduced. It was potentially a bigger split. I don't know if the split of this frame was wider or not. I don't have my calipers with me. I wasn't really prepared for that, but I have calipers on now. I don't know if the split was wider. This is a size probably a 42. It doesn't look like it's that much wider, but it had an H block. Famously, K2 H block. So they patented this as a protector for inline skates, for stunt skating or something. I don't know what the patent said. And because of this, nobody could do a replaceable H block in any of their frames for 25 years. That is why, like 4 years ago, we started seeing frames with replaceable H blocks. And that is why the murder blocks were so tricky, because it wasn't just a replaceable H block, it consumed part of the skate. So if it wasn't just between the middle wheels and the middle wheels were actually the outside wheels, they could work their way around the patent. But they patented the H block, which means that nobody could do an H block, and they sued people. They said you can't use replaceable H blocks, and they had to come up with different designs, which is wild. But that is what companies do. That's why corporations can be very bad. It has a flat sole. So if you look at it, it is completely flat under here. No skates had a flat sole back in those days. We were talking about Majestic 12s. We're talking about probably before the Dirks. This is like Trooper era for rollerblades. We're talking about, I guess the Oxygen Argon had a flat sole, but they also bolted metal under there, so kind of defeats the purpose. This was a flat sole. Amazing. Had a Royale groove. So there was actually a cutout in the boot so that you could do Royales. And you could see the angle. I mean, this was his Royale angle. That is a legit Royale angle right there. That's what you want. So back in those days, you know, you had to get a little creative because boots weren't technically designed for Royales. This was designed before people were really doing Royales. But they knew that it was coming. And you could see the angle was kind of like sideways. And the reason for that is you needed to get a little bit on your toes so that you could get that balance, because this material it's like leather. It didn't really slide, which is great if you're doing backslides on kink trails. But if you're just skating a ledge, you can definitely grind into your ankles pretty quickly, or the side of your feet pretty quickly. Not the best. They came with grind plates. So this Fatty Pro came with Fitty Fitty grind plates. These were the Tom Heiser grind plates. Fitty Fitty's first OEM deal. Thousands and thousands and thousands of grind plates were made for this thing. It was very, very nice at those times. It also came with, it didn't come with Cosmos. It came with other wheels. I don't remember what wheels, but they were actually good wheels. So the Fatty Pro was a legit skate. They came with the Fatty as well, not the Pro version of the Fatty, just the Fatty, which was the gray and dark gray and light gray version of it. The Fatty Pro was the one that had the red around the top. Soft boot, again, I talked about the soft boot technology. This whole upper area was like a shoe. The bottom, you could see how it was made. It had this thing that was flat here, and it would come up around your ankle, around your heel. And then there was a cuff that would mount in. Now, unfortunately, the cuff, you could see where it bolted in. Cuff is no longer with us. It's probably in the corner somewhere disintegrating. But it did have a cuff. It was a plastic cuff. Locked you in pretty nicely. K2 plastic did not hold up. So if you have K2 skates at home, do not skate them. They will break as soon as you put them on your feet. I had a friend who had a beautiful pair of samples that she had made, and she put them on and they just crumbled. So keep them in the closet. They're great for looking at, but do not skate these. This was the beginning of K2. They made skates before then, but nothing was like the Fatty. So many people skated Fatties back in the days. This was the skate that everybody got because it really came on hard, 96, 97 maybe? And it was so popular. Everybody had them. Great price point. K2's distribution, they were in all of the big box stores. It was an amazing skate. Oh. There were a few other releases. So this is a pair of the K2 250cc's. You can see it is the same skate with a few upgrades. So first of all, it's kind of in better condition. I'm not going to close this buckle because it's going to break, but it has an actual cuff. It has a replaceable, not replaceable, but an actual Royale pad. So this locks in a little bit. It's the same base, but it's got a Royale thing that comes in and it locks in there. Goes all the way around to the toe cap. So they upgraded this. It has the inserts at the bottom. So it's a second injection that uses a different material for the sole plate. Super cool. This H-block, I think, was also replaceable. Yeah, it was replaceable. Is this a metal grind plate? No, that's a plastic grind plate. Also replaceable H-block. I don't know how you got it out, though. Maybe you go through the bottom of the boot. Never opened them. Don't really want to risk breaking them. But you can see they were the exact same skate. Different style, different colors, different look and feel. But that's the beauty of a soft boot. Every release can be completely different. Not just changing the color of the shell. You can change the entire design, just like using the same silhouette for a sneaker, but you can change the colorway. You can change the materials that you use. Soft boots definitely can be very creative with what they look like. And I got these at Play It Again Sports for $20. This was back in 2018 when I started getting back into it. So before COVID boom. Thankfully, nobody got those and skated them because they would definitely fall apart. There was a time when I also got these at Play It Again Sports. They're making fatties for kids. This is a kid version of the fatty. It is an adjustable skate. So how do you adjust it? Don't really know how you adjust it, or maybe you can't adjust it. Maybe you can. Looks like you can, right? I could be wrong. Maybe you undo the brake and this comes out. I honestly don't know. All of these old skates, I'm hesitant to make any changes to them or tweaks, but it's possible. Oh, it looks like maybe there was something in the... Oh, you know what? It's probably these little doodoms. And then you unscrew that and this slides forward a little bit. That's probably it. Anyway, kids skates. This kid loved skating. And you can see never rotated his wheels. He needed to watch Gear Talk. We didn't have Gear Talk back then. But if he did, he'd probably learn to, or she probably learn to rotate their wheels a little better. Around 97, 98? Yeah, around 96, 97 maybe? No, yeah, later than that. It was NSGA, so 90, maybe 98. They released the King 55. Now, they released the Style Points Bob and the King 55. They both came at the same show. I remember this because we were at the NSGA trade show in Chicago, and Tom Heiser and Matt LeBlanc, no, that's the guy from Friends. What's his name? Chat, help me. Matt something. I forget his name. They walked around in king outfits. So they had the robe and they had the crown and everything. So they had two skates at the show. One was the Style Points Bob. So this is the Style Points Bob. Again, Matt Lacrosse. I knew you would get that. Matt Lacrosse. Not Matt LeBlanc. That's Joey. Matt Lacrosse, thank you. You win all the prizes. So this was the Style Points Bob. This came out after the 250. It is I think it came out after the 250. Maybe it came out before the 250. It looks like, it's hard to say. It looks like it came out before the 250 because this is a two-piece versus a one-piece. But that's just me being a nerd, probably around the same time. Different materials, again, same as the fatty, same basic skate, but they changed the materials, made it look like a completely different skate. This H-block, is that wheel bite protection? Ooh, first time we've seen wheel bite protection of some sort. I don't know that it really did much, but amazing that they were even thinking that way for a flat setup. Grind plate as tall as my forehead. Such a tall grind plate so that you could grind all the way up into the shell. Don't think anybody ever did, but that's a tall grind plate. Anyway, stop points, Bob, which leads us to the King 55. Now, a huge thank you. I forgot his name, so I'm going to check because I didn't want to forget, and then I got so busy I forgot Anthony is his name. Anthony sent these to me a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, it was right in the chaos of getting ready for Winter Clash. They've been sitting in a box. I finally opened them this weekend. Couldn't believe how amazing these skates were. These are pristine skates. So he is the second owner. He found these on Blade Trade or on eBay and picked them up. Original wheels, most likely. You can see the face wheels. You can still see the graphics on this one. I'm not sure what size these are. They're probably in the 60s. Probably down to like 58 now, but look at the core. That's so good. Big cores. Bring big cores back. It's very important. You can see the wheel bite protection in business. Again, not really wheel bite protection, but definitely feels like it's close to being wheel bite protection. Such a smart idea. This was an interesting one. So it's still on the same base as the Fatty. So it's got the same sole, the same flat area, same replaceable, not replaceable, but the same Royale pad. You can see compared to the King 50 or the Style Points Bob. Exactly the same on the bottom. It's the exact same skate. But this one had a 45-degree strap and a buckle of sorts with no cuff. So the cuff was this solid piece of, I don't even know what's in there, but it's super supportive. I definitely would love to get Tom on so that I could talk to him about it. Super supportive. This was amazing for vert skaters. Amazing for everybody, but definitely amazing for vert skaters who need that level of control when they're pumping up big airs and stuff like that. You want that support on your ankles. Very solid cuff area, but there was no plastic cuff. It was just full material all the way up, and it is nice and stiff. I mean, you can see it is nice and stiff up there. Oh, it came with a little padded toe, so you could hide your stuff in there, I guess. Little puffy toe. There it goes. It goes up there. Hey, now we're really playing in the late 90s. Yeah, very cool. So these are the King 55s. They didn't last very long. I think this was a couple of releases, maybe. Not a ton of releases, because they were such a niche skate. Only a few different disciplines. They weren't really designed for street skating, although obviously you could use them for street. They were really great for vert, really stable. I would love to see somebody make something like this again because it is awesome. Look how tall that cuff is. It goes all the way up. It's like a motocross. Anyway, beautiful specimens. I will happily add these to the wall after I am done with this show because they are one of my unicorn skates. I don't have very few left, but this is one of them because I've seen them, but I've never held them. I never skated them. And to have a pair, it's amazing to have. They will live on the wall so that everybody can see how beautiful they are because these are so well constructed, such amazing skates, and have held up so well. I mean, this is a 20 plus 30-year-old skate. It's amazing. Anyway, King 55. K2 didn't stop there, so I will talk a little bit about the King 55, but I want to keep going. I have a few of the modern skates as well. They continue to make fatties. So this was a fatty that they made while I was out. my friend Gislin sent me this pair. These are what look like the same base, maybe slightly updated, but it is a UFS fatty. So this is a UFS frame. You can see the same basic concept as the other fatties that we've seen. The Style Points bottle, the 250 cc's. Same base. It's got the soft boot up top. It's got the hard shell for the cuff. These are UFS. So they actually have UFS mounts, which is great. Funny enough, after all the drama, the H-block is not removable. It is a single piece frame with an H-block built in, which they had the patent. They could have done anything, but they decided to just, removable H-blocks were a bad idea. Well, they were a good idea. But they didn't use them anymore. A lot of glue, a lot of stuff like that holding the skate together, but definitely a very pretty skate. And then when I got back, my first pair of K2s, oh, actually I have one more before I show that one. These kind of slipped in, I don't know the dates, it was mid-2000s, it was before those UFS fatties. Oh, these are the Nemesis, I think they're called. Yeah, Nemesis? K2 Nemesis, I think. These things were wild. So it's basically a snowboard boot. The biggest boot you've ever seen, the most padded boot you've ever seen. It had literal snowboard binding style buckles. Like this click buckle is no joke. It had a big ass sole plate, wide AF. It has this crazy forward lean or forward flex adjuster, so you could adjust it, I guess, and keep it from flexing forward or backwards. These things are amazing. I cannot remember who sent them to me. I appreciate them. The glue on these has fallen apart. They start flopping all over the place. The other pair, you can see the other pair has started falling apart. So it's just glued on there and that's it. Probably get cancer by just smelling this, but such an amazing skate. I think these were the Pat Lennons. Might be wrong. Yes, Pat Lennons. Transfers, not Nemesis's, transfers. Oh, and the stream is getting all crazy again. Amazing skates. Very, very impressed that they made these. Such a crazy skate, but yeah, I'm glad that we're not making them anymore. Anyway, the final K2 skates that I had. Oh, where are they? Ugh. These are the front streets. What to say about the front streets? So these were some of the skates that I felt were the worst that I skated. So I got back into blading, skated all the different skates. These were some of the worst. Extremely stiff, hurt my feet, felt like the material, because it's so stiff, doesn't lace down. And because it doesn't really have a liner, it's an integrated, like the boot is kind of a liner. Didn't feel like I could get comfortable. Did not like these skates at all. These were the last skates that K2 made. They do make some skates now, nothing specifically marketed to aggressive, but they have a few uptowns, I think they call them, that are based on this. They don't come with a grinding sole plate. They come with a more small sole plate, but it is a same kind of model. You can get them. I don't know that they have sole plates for them. I don't know that you can grind in them. They do have UFS versions, though, I believe. So if you're pining for the old days and you want to support K2, that's one way to do it. But know that these, or the most recent ones, are nothing like the fatties that you had in years past. These are a very stiff boot. They are not comfortable. They're not super flexible, and they're not very fun to skate. I think they stopped making these about 3 years ago. It was right before COVID. So that is K2 for you. Did you have K2 skates? I'm sure that you've had a pair in the past. K2 Fatty #1 skate that people say that they had back when they were skating and they want to get back into it. They send me a message and they say, I used to skate. I had the blah, blah, blah. Well, they had the K2 Fatties. 9 times out of 10, they had K2 Fatties. They must have sold so many of those things. It's ridiculous. What else? I guess we can take some questions. That's about it that I have with the K2. If you had any questions on K2, I'd love to answer them. But anything else, I will scroll to the top. If you've got questions, I would love to answer them. And there was the last question. Scroll up. And then I should be getting out of here. Hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Not bad, not bad. Good show. True Skeet, if it's not too much of a loaded question, could you point out the big differences over the years between backyard bobs, 250cc, King 55 transfer, etc.? I just did. Thanks, Adam. Go to fashion. Can you show the Omni setup with white soles right behind you that is below the Yandees? White soles, that is right behind me, that is below the Yandees. White soles. This one? Maybe this one? So this is white soles, white creates, China wheels, white anti-rockers on a black V2. Oh. I think that's the one. Mr. Darren 25. I have some King 55s that I gutted, and how they work on the inside is there's a plastic articulating cuff, half in the heel area, and floating triple layered fiber material in the ankle. Good Lord. That's amazing. I can't believe they went through that much trouble to make a skate for such a limited use case. But it was a wild time. You know, they probably had so much money and so much motivation that they were like, wow, we'll make you a skate. We'll make a skate perfect. And this was back when, you know, Scott Crawford and Takeshi was skating K2s. Eito was skating K2s. Sessa was skating K2s. Everybody was skating K2s. It was a very big vert team. And then they would have the style points for the street team. You know, some people skated both, but then if you wanted to skate street, you had these skates. If you wanted to skate vert, you had these skates. Amazing. I don't know that we'll ever make a vert skate again. I don't know that anybody will ever make a vert skate again, but it would be great to see. Mr. 125, if you were ever to make a standard soft boot, make these. Yeah, I would love to make a soft boot. It is not in the cards anytime soon. That seems like a huge undertaking. I don't know the first thing about it, but I do have a lot of samples that I can use as reference. And yeah, I would love to see somebody come out with a soft boot like a K2, because that was a great thing for the time. I don't know that it's still a great thing for where we are in skating now, but for the times, it was amazing. And I'd love to get a pair that I could skate that was fresh like that felt like those, that wouldn't break quickly. Just to see. Again, I love skating the things to see if there is something there. The comfort might be amazing, but honestly, it's like factions. It's like adapts. You know, you just, instead of using the plastic, you use carbon, and they use nubuck instead of whatever material they were using. And it's a pretty good compromise. Yeah, I mean, I always recommend faction tactical skates for anybody who comes back. It's a little bit more pricey because they're carbon and not plastic, but it is a really good comp to what the fatties used to be like. All right. Dank Peasy, would you ever consider doing collabs with other companies like them has with Clark's? Yeah, I don't know that I would ever do it outside of the industry. You know, I'm in North Carolina. If if Bojangles came by and wanted to do a collab with Standard, I mean, I would take their call. I don't know. I don't know what crossover there would be there. But I would love to do collabs with people inside the industry. You know, in my eyes, the pro skate for a skater is a collab with that skater. And I would love to do more like that. You know, I think it is one thing to just come out with a skate. It's another to have a reason behind the skate, and to celebrate a skater is amazing. And it's kind of what I want to do. You know, I want to thank people for being in rollerblading and for dedicating their time, you know, and their bodies towards skating. That's something that I feel like you know, a signature skate, collab skate, can really pay tribute to. Easy life at first. My first were the K2 Bing Airs. Oh, the Bing Airs. I remember the Bing Airs. Yeah. Then the 256 only because they were size 14. I feel you. I would love to get a big skates out there. It is just, it's so expensive, man. Like, if things keep up, we will be in good shape. It's hard to predict how long V2 sales will go, but it is selling really well. I get a lot of people asking what they feel like and giving me recommendations on what setup I should get, what sizing and stuff like that. I get a lot of questions from shops now wanting to pick up the line. If things keep going this way, we will be in a really good financial, we will be in a really good financial situation where we can reinvest in molds. It's going to be a while until we get there, though. That is the dream. I would love to have, again, a skate for everybody. And it's hard when you only make 5 shells. We do a pretty good job with it, but I want more shells so that there's more options out there so that more people can skate our skates, because I'm so proud of them. So hang tight someday, but it's not happening anytime soon. Go-to fashion, the Omnis with a soft top. Yeah, I think that would be amazing. I would love to do a soft boot skate. I don't know if it's as easy as just doing it like that, though. I think people have done just soft top areas in the past. You know, the Aeons, the Carlos Bernal Aeons, the new ones, and then before then the Lomaxes, kind of had that. Not really feeling it. Like, I don't think that's the right. I think you need to go further. But I hadn't skated them. I should buy a pair and just see what they're like. I've skated the carbon skates. You know, I've skated the Gods. I know what a skinned integrated liner with a plastic shell feels like, and what a carbon, you know, the Adapts and the Factions and the USD Carbons feels like, and the Sebas. If I had to choose between the two, I would go with carbon, but I don't know that that's in the cards either. So something to think about, definitely in the cards in the future. Everything's in the cards. Again, I grew up, well, I shouldn't say I grew up. Before skating Omnis, I was a big USD Carbon fan. And after that, I was a big Adapt fan. My preference for skates is a stiff bottom with a nice, comfortable top. And that is attainable with a soft boot style like the K2 had, and like the Adapt and the USD Carbon have now. I want the most comfortable boot. Someday it's going to happen. I don't know how to get around that, though. There's great carbon options now. I think Faction's doing an amazing job with it. I wouldn't want to bring something out if I'm just doing something that somebody else is doing. So there needs to be a unique twist to it. Stay tuned. We'll listen. And if there's enough people out there wanting something different, that's great. Right now, couldn't be happier with the Omni V2, and I can't wait to get out there and skate them. You know, I'm getting more motivated by the second to go out and skate myself. H Block, any upcoming merch drops for Standard in 2025? Yeah, we'll probably have drops throughout the year. Stefan's amazing at doing soft goods, and I want to have more. We brought our hoodies and hats and shirts and stuff to Winter Clash and sold almost all of them. We have the Crowder event coming in April. If you are in the area or are able to come on out. We will likely have new merch there. I don't know what's after that. Frankie's? I don't know when Frankie's is. Is it in May? Maybe it's in May. Every event that we have, though, I want to make sure that we have new merch, because I learned from the Winter Clash that it's great to meet people, but nobody wants to buy product there. They want to buy stuff that they can't buy anywhere else. And if we make shirts, hats, stuff like that for events, or stuff that isn't for an event, but we release it at an event, it is great for people who showed up. And they have a souvenir that they went to the event and it's like, hey, I got this shirt, limited run, and I was able to get one. That's cool. Like, I wear t-shirts all the time. I love having different t-shirts, and if I can wear shirts that are cool, that represent what I love, I mean, I think a lot of people are like me. So definitely more to come. We might do some little product drops as well. We got a lot of plates spinning right now. But we've got a lot on tap for 2025. I think we're going to, because it's been such a success, I think we're going to go really hard. So watch this space, follow the Instagram. We will have more information as we can. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of good stuff this year. And I think that's it. Excellent. Thank you all so much for joining. 10:30. Great show. Moved quick. The stream was okay. Looks like I had 806 dropped frames, which isn't bad. I'm sure it slowed down a little bit, but I will record and have the recording up, which should be in good quality. I was honestly a little shocked with how many K2 skates I have. I was cleaning out, making room up on the wall, and I couldn't believe how many of them I found, because what you see on the wall, I've still got skates up above, and then I have skates like down below that I cleared out. They're all in the front showroom now. I'll post a picture tomorrow on the story showing you the chaos of all of the skates. But it's amazing what K2 had accomplished. I'm bummed that they're no longer in the sport, supporting the sport, couldn't care less about the sport, because they were very important to our history. And I don't know if they should ever come back again. I think good riddance. But it's sad. Just like Solomon, I don't think Solomon should ever come back, but it's sad that they aren't, because they had such a huge impact on our sport. And, we have to remember that. And I think, paying them respect and remembering that K2 created the H block. K2 created the idea of having a flat sole in a Royale. Like, those are amazing things that have progressed skating so far. Without the K2 Fatty, we wouldn't have all of those things. We would, but that was the first one that allowed that enabled those skate tricks. I remember distinctly seeing Jason Marshall doing, a backslide on the King Trail in San Jose. And it's because he could sit on those K2 Fatties. I remember my friend Kel McKenzie, who could do the gnarliest rails because he would just unity in his fatties. And he would just jump up, because the fatties had this slow material on the top, and he would just jump on, and he's just like, it doesn't really count, he'd say. It's like, dude, you're doing every trick or you're doing unis on every rail. You're able to do any crazy rail you want, but it doesn't count because it's slow or whatever. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, I say this all the time, but go out there and skate. It's such a good thing for you. Take my example. I wish that I could skate more. I'm going to plan on skating more, and I hope to post, if not video stories showing that I am skating more. It is a great way to clear your head. Things are a little weird right now. And I'm hoping that They get better. Don't know that they will anytime soon. Going out there and skate is a great way to just get in your zone. Put your headphones on if you're that sort of thing. It's starting to get warm enough that you can go out and skate. Even if you just skate around your neighborhood, put some big wheels on, go out there and have a good time. As always, if you have any questions, make sure you leave a comment. Send me an email, send me a message, however you can get a hold of me. Thank you all for watching. Sincerely appreciate it. I know you could do a lot of things with your time, but appreciate you being here with me. And hope to see you again in 2 weeks.